Love to Learn is the result of a 13-year journey. I started wondering what we could do to keep that light of learning in our children's eyes. Because all children are born with a passion and a survival skill to learn new things. And as we grow up, we tend to lose that passion. In business world, it's extremely important skill, especially for productivity. Engagement is key. If we can figure out how to keep that excitement, that joy of learning alive in our kids, then we could improve productivity, job fulfillment, and judging by the results of studies into what happens to the health of people who are bored by their jobs, well, they tend to die on average 20 years earlier than others who love their jobs. And they tend to have lives riddled with chronic diseases. So we could possibly have positive health outcomes from this as well. I wanted to explore this phenomenon through a review of literature and discussions with some of the brightest minds in the field of neurobiology, creativity, child education, and human development. See, we tend to think of learning as a task. You have the goal of learning something, you learn it, and it's done. But this research is focused on the life skills that go into and emerge from the process of learning. And we go into the scientific research behind these life skills and how we can implement these life skills into our everyday lives and into the learning experiences of our kids. Caring is all about the alignment of the topics that are offered to a child and that child's goals in life. A teacher can say, this is going to help you get into college. And for the teacher, that might be an important goal. But for the child who's not interested in college, that might not be the best way to create interest in a course. And any topic can be framed to any child in a way that's going to generate caring in them. All that's necessary is for the instructor to be aware of what the child's personality is like, what their long-term and short-term goals are like. And that means a relationship building between children and their teachers. And once we help children care about the topics that they're learning, focus automatically comes. If a child is having difficulty focusing on something that they really care about, that's a sign of other problems that they're dealing with that we might be able to help them with. Fun is about being able to enjoy the process of learning. And a lot of teachers believe that they can create fun only through games and discussions and peer interactions. But that's not true, actually. Robert Sapolsky is a professor in Stanford, and he's a lecturer in neuroendocrinology, neurobiology, and biology. So his topics can be extremely dreadful, boring, but his students love his lectures, and videos of his lectures go viral online. What helps this happen is the humor he uses in his lectures, in my opinion, and the way he integrates different examples of real-life applications of the things that he's talking about. Even though they're very complex, when you're making them available to kids in examples of real-life phenomenon, it all becomes very meaningful and very enjoyable. Pride is all about the usefulness of the information that's provided to the child and the child's ability to apply that to everyday life and feel good about it. When we think of the word pride, very often we think of the biblical term where it's more about boastfulness and lack of humility. This is more about being very excited and fulfilled about what you can do in the world. It's about self-efficacy and seeing that you can be of incredible use to the life around you, that you matter, what you do matters. Pride is where we build connections with different domains of knowledge, and this is where creative thinking happens and develops, and where children figure out what it feels like to accomplish things, to show their loved ones, people they respect, all the things that they can create with the wonderful knowledge that they gain. And so this is a very rewarding aspect of learning. Patience is about being able to look at a topic that's being learned from different perspectives without jumping into conclusions. And this is a key skill in our business world today, because we expect our leaders to be able to communicate well, to be able to take perspectives of different parties, and to be able to tolerate complexity. They need to know the needs and wants of their employees, of their customers, and they need to be able to bring different pieces of knowledge that are often conflicting with each other into one big picture that's making sense for the business overall. And that requires a lot of deep breaths, a lot of taking a step back and looking in, and a lot of patience. Authenticity is about applying learning methods, things learned, that open mind, that curiosity into your everyday life to the degree that they become part of who you are. When you listen to many successful people like Bill Gates, Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, Charlie Munger, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg, they often say that the reason why they're successful is their love of learning, and they talk about lifelong learning. And this is it. This is the beginner's mind that Eastern philosophers talk about. It's that openness, that interest, excitement, and enjoyment, joy about being able to ask questions, listen to the answers people give about those questions, even when they're very unusual, and being interested in different ways that we can apply our knowledge into everyday problems. Leadership is about being able to take initiative, being able to appreciate the responsibility that comes with initiative, having the capacity to think critically about information given to you, separating useful information from unuseful information, and being able to have the self-knowledge of your needs and your wants, enough to be able to guide your own education process, of your learning process, self-directed learning. And this might seem very complicated, something that you might see in university students, college students, but not really. In Finland, for example, a country known for the very positive school outcomes, elementary school students are able to ask their teachers for permission to go outside of the class in the middle of a topic that's being discussed, and go to the school cafe to study on their own, and they can get that permission. That responsibility is offered to them, and they're able to take that initiative to use the responsibility very wisely. Balance is about being able to tolerate and seek out constructive criticism and even negative feedback, because it's very easy to fall into bubbles of knowledge when you get to learn new skills, new information. They often come with their own worldview, their own framework of looking at experiences. It's very possible for many of us, even the most brilliant among us, to fall into a specific bubble and stay there, even though the world around them continues to change. The most powerful tool that we have to get out of those bubbles is really to be open to constructive criticism from our friends, from people around us who tell us what you're doing isn't really working. And as Oprah says very wisely, sometimes things not working out is your intuition's way of whispering to you that you need to reevaluate your direction and maybe pivot if necessary. I invite you to join me in this workshop where we go deeper into these topics and watch videos straight from the labs of neuroscientists talking about how we can apply these life skills into our own lives and into the education of our children.